Hello. March the 21st, 2020, coming up to 5 p.m. I've not been out the flat since Wednesday afternoon because Waltham Forest Council have made my life hell. My incompetent housing officer has basically told everyone I complained because everyone's putting stuff on the stairwell. He didn't name me, but it's a block of 6 flats and I'm the only one with stuff outside, so it doesn't take a genius to work out who's put the complaint in. And within a half an hour, the mad woman from downstairs comes rushing up on my door. I've got her on camera. Comes rushing up on my door and frantically knocks on my door for 2 minutes. I've been trying to get someone from the council to contact me, and after almost 3 days, at 5:45 last night, I get a secretary emailing me saying we've received all your emails from the last 3 days. Oh, and they're investigating. But it doesn't really help that I've gone out of my mind for 3 days without any acknowledgement, which is bloody rude and poor customer service. Hello, Caspi. But no one has actually done anything to make my life less miserable. I have no food. Okay, I've got frozen mince, but I've got nothing to cook it with. I've got no butter, no pasta. I have been shopping before Wednesday, and there's been nothing in the shops for over a week. I've not been able to get pasta. I tried online deliveries, but they've all been cancelled for 3 weeks. Asda's app went down last night, or has been taken down, the same as most of the other grocery stores. I've tried finding stuff on Amazon, and most of that is sold out. I am all alone here. My counsellors have done nothing. In fact, no, they've done less than nothing. They eventually got chased by a different ward counsellor yesterday. Bless her, Karen Bellamy. She has done a cracking job. But it's not her job to support me. It's my counsellor's job to support me. They've been kept in the loop every step of this way for the last 3 weeks. And they have not intervened once. Until yesterday, when Karen got in touch with Roz, who basically did not read the long email that I sent, assumed I was panicking about COVID-19, said we're all in the same boat, and referred me to mental health. I'm not worried about the virus. It's a virus. It is not going to kill most people. I am not worried. But I cannot leave my flat, and I cannot get any groceries. Even if I do leave my flat, I can't even go into the shops if they're crowded. Twice I've been to Tesco's in the last week, and I've just walked in, walked out because it's been too crowded. Where do people like me sit when everyone else is panic buying? I wouldn't say it's panic buying. They're not panic buying at all. They're bulk buying. They know what they're doing. They're not panicking about it. I don't see anyone in Tesco's or Sainsbury's or Morrison's panicking. They're angry because they can't get any more of the stuff they've already bought. And on one occasion, I had someone walk past me in Tesco's, Monday I think it was, picking up something and talking to someone else. After we've been told to socially isolate, she's walking around Tesco's talking to someone, saying, "Oh, I don't really need it. I'm just getting it because it's here." I wasn't sure what she was buying. I didn't look round. She was behind me. But if you don't need it, don't buy it. At the moment, I've got a little bit of milk and a little bit of cereal, so I can have porridge for dinner. And the boys, my cats, have got plenty of food, plenty of litter. I've just had a delivery of litter. That should last them a couple of weeks. But until the council makes this place safe and makes me feel like they're looking after me, I really don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, there's only so much coffee I can drink. That's all I've got. Coffee and tea. I've got no milk. Got sugar. But it's like the first time I went to a food bank 2 and a bit years ago. Yeah, you get an awful lot of food at a food bank, but you can't make a meal out of any of it. So I've still got to go and, I could make lasagna. Theoretically, I've got mince, I've got onions, I've got pasta sheets. I've got nothing to do the sauces with. I've got nothing for sauces. The police have contacted me, or tried, but because of my anxiety and the heightened anxiety levels, I've had to enforce stringent blocking of private calls, and so the police can't even contact me. I am absolutely on my own. The counsellors don't do anything over the weekend because I've messaged this Karen woman. She hasn't done anything. I've tried reaching out to people on Messenger and WhatsApp and a few dating apps, and I'm not getting any responses from any of them. The last response I had from someone when I asked to talk to them was, "I'll call you back on Sunday," and that was Thursday night. Block. I don't want to talk to people that don't want to talk to me. Especially when they give the excuse, "I'm with my friends." Thank you, that's really insulting. So I'm never classed as a friend with anyone because I'm always blocked out whenever anyone's with their friends. So I'm not one of their friends. That's why I'm alone. So I don't know what I'm going to do. See, now I've got people outside. And it's scary. Because it's not safe anyway. This block is not secure. The council don't make sure the doors are shut. They know the tenants are leaving the doors open, wedging the doors open. And they tell me off for trying to get the tenants to close the doors. It's all back to front, upside down. Why am I the one in the wrong when everyone else is doing things that's unsafe and illegal? And yet, people are telling me, "Oh, maybe you should move." Why? Maybe they should fucking move. I got evicted. No, I didn't get evicted. I got moved by Barking and Dagenham Council forcibly because they were making my life hell as well. After 48 years, because their social services and their housing weren't doing anything to support me and their repairs, because I couldn't get any repairs done for 7 years. They just wouldn't make appointments with me. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. This will be going up onto YouTube eventually, but I might post this to Facebook. Because this is just desperate, man. I've never been in a situation where I can't even get out to get some shopping. Or I've never felt like, even if I could get out, I would get shopping. I mean, it's alright saying go and use your corner shops. But if you're on benefits like me, and corner shops are just too expensive to live out of. I don't mind, I go there occasionally because I do keep them corner shop, I go there once a week, once a fortnight, just to make sure, they're there when you need them. But you can't live out of corner shops at their prices. And if people are being allowed to buy 2 or 3 or 4 items of things, I mean, the latest bit out of Tesco's is they're restricting people down to 3 items. Well, I'm sorry, why are they restricting people down to 3 items? Why are they still bulk buying or buying like toilet rolls? You can still buy 9s and 21s of toilet roll. Sorry, 21 packs of toilet roll, 9 packs of toilet roll, when people can't even get one. Why aren't the supermarkets ordering the minimum multiple packs, 2s and 4s? So that would be the ration. There should be a consensus amongst this. It shouldn't be like, well, we'll take 3 of whatever the biggest pack is, which is what people are doing. And the managers aren't doing very much. Bless the Tesco manager, fantastic, rad my way. He actually stopped someone taking 3 packs of 4 toilet roll about a week ago. But the trouble is, it's society's fault, because society over the last 35 years has got into the habit, we'll take what we can get away with. No one self-enforces the law on themselves anymore. There was a day when, people wouldn't do more than 70 miles an hour on a motorway. Now they'll do 80 or 90 until they think someone's going to be watching. There's cameras or roadworks or something like that. And they'll go as fast as they can, as fast as they think they can get away with. Same with the supermarkets. If they allow us 3, we'll buy 3 of the biggest things. If they're not restricting other things, we'll bulk buy, we'll get a trolley load of water, for instance. What's that about? This is wrong. Society was falling apart to begin with, and then this virus hits, and then you really see the true nature of society. Selfish, arrogant, and greedy. There's not many out there thinking of others. They're thinking of others that they might be able to make a profit out of them, yeah. But not thinking about the poor people that can't get out. They're just worrying about their own little self. Don't worry about the money. The government's already said this. Don't worry about your house. The government's already said this. I don't know how many times Boris Johnson has said you are not going to be evicted. And then you've got all these greedy people all over Facebook. Why don't the council stop giving parking tickets? Why are the parking wardens out? Sorry, this is a virus. This is not anarchy. There's still a state of law in this country. You're still supposed to be upright, decent citizens, theoretically. Why should you be able to park? I mean, someone even put on Facebook, well, they even gave me a ticket for parking outside a shop to get a toilet roll. Why would you drive to get a toilet roll? I mean, I'm assuming the way they're describing it is it's a corner shop. So I'm assuming it's local to them. And even if it isn't exactly really local, I mean, why don't you go to your local corner shop? Because they're all fully stocked. The ones around here, they don't seem to be running out of anything anytime soon. But even if it's not a local corner shop, why not just walk? Unless you're disabled, which I can understand you would drive everywhere, most people are healthy enough to be able to walk. So what's the need for unrestricted parking? If we had unrestricted parking, that would encourage people to drive more and go out more and socialise more. If anything, Boris should bring in stringent parking. Wipe out all current parking restrictions and say there is no parking outside at all. Enforce all parking restrictions as 24/7. Regardless of what time there is on the plates, the same parking restrictions apply 24/7. Anyone found contravening, car gets scrapped. No ifs and ands or buts. These people need to learn that they cannot do whatever they want to do. There's a society outside their little world, and they're affecting it. And if they want to do whatever they want, they lose their jobs, they lose their house, they lose their car. There should be no ands, ifs, buts, no fairness in this society. If some people can get away with not treating the rest of society as fair, then no one should be treated fairly. And if that means scrapping people's cars just because they park outside a shop to get some groceries, knowing that it's not legal to park there, pick it up and crush it. Do it in the street. Make an example out of these people. No way. We've tolerated people breaking the law, not just with parking, but with blocking the highway, putting bins out on roads, all this sort of petty infringement that people think, oh, that's only being neighbourly. No, sorry, bins are bins. If you want your own bit of road, you buy it off the council via a dropped curb. If you haven't got enough garden to park your car in your garden and create a driveway, move. If you want your own parking space, move to a place with its own parking space, or create one if you can. Don't force society to become your storage for your vehicle. You buy a vehicle, you work out what the storage should be. Don't get up in arms just because, oh look, I can't park right outside my house, I have to walk 2 feet. I don't care whether it's 2 feet or 200 feet. I've walked over 3/4 of a mile in the past because I've got no parking outside my house. You didn't see me writing away and complaining to the council and putting things on the internet. I can't park outside my house. No, I did something about it. I wrote to my council and I got parking put in. So don't sit there whinging all the time, I ain't got no parking. Did you have a car when you moved here? Did you buy the car while you were here? Did you take into account that you've got a car or you were going to get a car? No, no, no. So don't blame me and the rest of society for your lack of foresight. If you want somewhere to store something, you have to create the storage, not assume you can just leave it outside, which is basically what people are doing with cars. If you buy a mobile phone, you don't leave it on the curb because, oh, it's public land, it's free, I can store it there. If you buy a laptop, you don't leave it outside. All your other items you put inside your house, on your land, at least land that you rent or have a mortgage on. The car is the only thing that people have where they assume they can just leave it on public land, which is what the highway is. Not your land. Even with a dropped curb, it's still not your land, and it's not even your curb. Thank you. You're paying the council to put a dropped curb in, which gives you the right to go up onto your drive. In fact, it makes a drive, the dropped curb. Without a dropped curb, it's just a garden. But it doesn't give you the right to restrict anyone parking or using that curb. That curb is a public piece of land. You've just paid to have it modified. So you don't own it. It never gets added onto your tenancy or your title deeds of your house. It's a dropped curb, which is a public available service. It's for disabled access as well as your access to your garden. So, unfortunately, society has, for the last 35 years, grown accustomed to being absolutely arrogant about public land. It's about time you woke up and smelled the coffee, everyone. You need to work things out for yourself. Hire a garage. Park your car in a garage. If there's not enough garages around, you have to work out when you have a car where you're going to park it. It isn't it's a no-brainer, What is so difficult? I've bought something, where am I going to put it? You do it with everything else you buy. Why not your car? Don't assume you're going to get free parking. One person on Facebook a couple of weeks ago put down, well, when I moved here, there was free parking everywhere. Now they put zones in and dropped curbs, and there's less parking. Get over it. That's life. Things change. You can't assume you've got storage for something if you're using someone else's land. You can't turn around to them and say, oh no, you can't change use of this piece of land because it's outside my house. You don't own the land, they can do whatever they want. If you've got a problem, sort it out yourself. Don't blame me. Not my fault you've got a car and you can't find somewhere to park it. You are responsible. Hello, Tabs. You are responsible for your own goods. Anyway, what else is there? What else is happening apart from this is the week I walked 15 miles not to get cat litter, then had to wait 3 days for an online delivery, which came a day late. But thankfully they've all got food and they've all got litter, the cats. And I'm just waiting for my food to run out, basically. I think I'll give up on society. Doesn't do me any favours. The only thing I can hope for is that this coronavirus will kill off all the arrogant, nasty, bad people first. But there's very little chance of that happening. If only society could be cleansed of these people. And then I wouldn't have any neighbours, because they'd all go as well. Anyway, I've got my X-Files, I've got my cats, they've got food and litter, they're happy, I've got bugger all, and I'm just waiting for some sort of help. The police have left a message, but I don't think there's anything the police can do, apart from really make things worse by coming round and knocking on the doors of people saying, have you threatened him? And they'll say no. I can't see how their involvement would make things any better. What I need is Waltham Forest Council to actually do what they said they were going to do in the letter and keep the stairwells clear and get the fire doors made safe. There's doors that I can't check all the doors, but from what I've seen, there's at least 2 doors with no seal to the base of them, and at least one that I know of where they've taken the door return off so you can hold the door open, which is perfect for a fire. Am I the only one that remembers Grenfell Tower? I mean, the only reason I got any action out of the council, my housing officer, in the first place is because I reported them to the fire brigade. And that's the only reason, even though 3 weeks ago this housing officer went round on an estate inspection and he pointed out to me all the stuff in the staircase. And it wasn't until I reported him to the fire brigade that he wrote a letter saying he has received complaints. Well, it's not a genius to work out who's complained if I'm the only one without stuff outside their bloody fire door. Thoughtless. The chief executive of Waltham Forest Council not done a thing. All the directors, nothing. Michelle Maloney's PA was the one that wrote to me saying, we've received all your emails, Mr. Gibbons. Well, why didn't you reply to me 3 days ago, knowing that I've got autism and all I want is an acknowledgement that someone's received it and is doing something? No matter how many times I tell people, they just ignore me. I get a name for being a troublemaker, and yet all I do is tell people what's wrong. And yet, that used to be a good thing when I was, young. And yet, I have to keep repeating or complaining, escalating reports. I shouldn't have to do that. I've told my housing officer about the state of the bin lockers. The doors are broken, the hinges are broken, the chains are broken. I've told him for months now. He's done nothing. What's he going to take? One of the things to come off, or, some dead person to be found in one of them? Or maybe someone shoots drugs in, because that's what they're using them for around here. The bin lockers aren't secure, and they're doing their drug deals in the bin lockers. The police know, the council know, nothing's done. So it's gone on long enough. It's been a nice day today as well. If only I could get outside and actually go for a walk and get some air in my lungs. But no, thanks to the council. I mean, hopefully Ian Duncan Smith will respond to my emails eventually, because I've written to him directly a few times, but I know it can take him a fortnight to actually respond. But I'm hoping that someone in his office will read the emails and see it as urgent and actually do something about it. So, I don't know. I'm tired because I'm not sleeping, because I'm not resting, because I'm worried about the fire situation and the neighbour situation. I mean, I used to just worry about my security, which is why I got a camera up on the door, because they'd keep the bottom two doors open. Now it's security, fire, and my actually personal well-being. What more did it take? I don't know. Anyway, I'll leave it there for now. I think I'll put this on Facebook in a moment and see if that gets any reaction. Because at the moment, I don't know what to do. I've tried ringing up, autism charities and people regarding Asperger's, and people referred me to the local COVID-19 support group. But I'm not worried about COVID-19. This isn't about the virus. This is what people aren't getting. This is what my counsellor doesn't get. I'm not worried about the virus. I don't go out most of the time anyway. So I'm at least risk of catching it, because I'm locked indoors 95% of the time anyway. Now I can't get out and try and get some groceries. And even if I do go out, there's hardly any groceries there to get. So no one thinks of people like me. Apparently healthy single males. Single parents, oh fine, they'll bend over backwards for. Which seems ironic considering, I didn't make myself this way, and yet single parents chose to be single parents. I know society don't like me saying stuff like this, but if I could choose not to be this way, I would. If you could choose not to be a single parent, i.e. make sure you don't get pregnant if you're not married or in a long relationship, so that society doesn't go down the pan like it currently is, then you should choose to. Mike Dickin from LBC had it right a long time ago. 15, 20 years ago, when he was alive and on LBC. Oh, pardon me, like asleep. He actually said that people should be licensed to have babies. They should be sterilised from birth, and you should prove that you're capable and competent to become a parent. And I actually agree with that. If it was possible, I think that would be perfect. Make everyone sterile, and then you would have to want to get pregnant. And that would sort an awful lot of problems out. If you didn't pass a parental test and you weren't in a relationship, then you don't get pregnant. We'd soon see the birth rate fall and the overpopulation fall. Because I'm talking not just this country, it would have to be global. No one should have children unless they're competent at looking after them. Most people can't even look after themselves. Children is just seen as an inconvenience, and they're normally told to bugger off and come back when it's dinner time. Which round here, in my area, it's not that bad. The kids are pretty good round here. But in some areas, when they're told to bugger off, they bugger off miles. They're nowhere near home. There's no adult supervision. I don't know. Society, eh? It's the thin end of the wedge. And now the whole country's been virtually nationalised. I do think it would be better if they did take ownership of the businesses rather than giving them the money. Do what they did with the banks and, take shares in the businesses so that they can recoup the money when the businesses are up and running. So the country doesn't, in fact, lose money. At the moment, Boris Johnson, cracking job he's doing, by the way, but he's basically funding companies. But that's all well and good, but there's got to be a way of getting that money back so that it doesn't come directly out of everyone's pocket. I know he's supporting, but basically if you've lost your job, then you're getting universal credit. If you, luckily enough, not lost your job, then the government will be paying 80% of your wages. But I'll guarantee the companies won't be paying the other 20%. You will lose income because the companies will keep that 80% in effect and just give you what the government gives them. So they're getting staff wage free for 3 months at least, which to me sounds like the companies are making money out of this, just in my head, because that's normally what happens. If the government gives people X, Y and Z and they hope that the other bit will be paid by the companies, it's very seldom paid by the companies. If the government is paying 80% of your staff's wages and you've got some excuse not to pay them at all, well, here's the 80% the government's giving you, but we can't give you the other 20%. Didn't David Cameron once say, or was it Nick Clegg, we're all in this together? We've been all in it together for 10 years now. First we had austerity, now we've got COVID-19, which probably means we've got another 10 or 20 years of austerity, because it's just a good excuse to carry on. I think finally people have realised, or they're about to realise, that the economy of the planet is not good for it. Greed and wealth takes priority all the time. There's not many governments out there that have put any restrictions on people buying things, or spending money, or holding money, or storing goods, or hoarding, or doing anything that is, in my terms, anti-social. No. It's all let the market take control. And as we've seen in the last week, if you don't stop people, not tell people, if you don't stop people doing things, or you don't have enough people enforcing the rules, then people will try to get away with whatever they can. Which means 10 years ago, when the police force was cut by over 21,000, that's when people started getting away with more, because there was less people to enforce it. The poor coppers, I feel so sorry for them, especially in this area. There is so much going wrong, and they're expected to handle everything. Very odd. We'll cut you down, but we'll make you do more. And they just carry on regardless, as little as they're reduced down to. They just carry on doing what they can. And it's not fair on the coppers. It's not fair on the NHS. It's not fair on the fire brigade. They're trying to, help us when we've been self-centered and stupid. Basically, that's what it all comes down to. And if you're not looking after your own things, if you're not looking after your own health, if you're not looking after your own security, then society has a problem, because you're putting that burden on someone else, like children. How many times have we all heard people saying, well, teachers should be doing this, teachers should be doing that? Hello, parenting starts with the parents. Teachers can carry on teaching your kids, especially about behaviour and that, but if you're not teaching them at home, there's no way they're going to carry that on at school. You know, if they're not being told this is not how you talk to people, they're going to talk to people wrong. And if a teacher tells them, they'll just turn around and say, you're not my parent. Society has got the wrong attitude. I've been saying it for years and no one's listened. And finally, something has made people stop and think. Not everyone. Give it a few days, when eventually Boris Johnson will have to pull out the stops, call in the military, enforce curfews. That's the only thing that's going to happen. The only problem I've got with curfews is, to do that, I think what they're going to have to do is some sort of rationing with supermarket. Well, some sort of rationing, full stop. Because it's okay having a curfew, but people have to get groceries. And in order to get groceries, people have to be restricted in what they can buy. And then the shops will have stuff in. Because I can't even get thin bleach. I've not been able to buy pasta for nearly 2 weeks now. And there's no bleach or cleaning products. Thankfully, I've got lots of soap, because I've been stockpiling soap over the last 2 years, I discovered, when I cleaned my bathroom out the other day. About 3 weeks ago, I found 4 sachets of liquid soap. Well, it's only me here, and that will last me quite a while. So we need rationing, we need curfews, even to the extent that, almost like the French system for traffic around the Paris centre, where it was on odd days or some days odd number plates would go in and some days even number plates would go in. They need to put a curfew in, but allow, I don't know how they'll do it, but they're going to have to do it on, well, not addresses. They need to make it more random, but they're going to need to change non-curfew hours for all groups. So only 10% of the population, for instance, can go out for this 1 hour. And then after that, you have to be indoors. And then another 10% can go out the next hour. So over 5-6 hours, you get everyone having a chance of going to the supermarkets. And if you thin it out to that extent, and I would ban all car traffic for non-essential travels, not just ask people. Any cars seen on the road without a key worker in them going to a place of work. So 2 nurses going to hospital to work, fine. But if you live local to where you're working and you're still working, then walk. If you don't live local and you can't walk that far, then you work from home. And if you can't work from home, your employer has to do something so that you're not forced to actually take up space on the road. There has to be a way. Most people can work remotely. Most jobs are IT based now. It's only really people in services, well, people in retail, people in services like fire, ambulance, hospitals, doctors, they need to get to work. And there should be some way of doing it we shouldn't need public transport for key workers. If they've got their own vehicles, then they should be encouraged to use their own vehicles, because then they're not using buses. And I can understand, I fully support cutting the buses in London down to Saturday working, and Saturday working Monday to Friday, and Sunday working Saturday and Sunday, I think it is. Which is fine, because it should only be key workers. But I really do think there should be some sort of curfew, some sort of limitations, like they've got in Italy, where you're only allowed one person in a supermarket at a time, or one person every 2 minutes. There shouldn't be any gossiping or chatting and that. You go in, do your shopping, come out. So, I don't know. There needs to be more restrictions, because people won't do what they're told. We had pictures of Epping Forest this morning on Facebook, and people, cycling around, but then sitting down having teas and coffees outside of a little cafe. Technically, it's not in breach of this restrictions that have been put in place, because it hasn't got any seating inside the cafe. But when you've got a cafe in a park and it's just like a stall, and you've got a whole bunch of benches outside, surely that's not the spirit of what's been asked. Take the seats away. Make sure that people disperse after they've got their stuff. I'm not saying don't open these stalls up or don't open these cafes up, but it should all be takeaway, and it should all be social distancing. Pictures of people, 15 people sitting around a couple of benches, having teas and coffees and sandwiches. That's not social distancing, and that's not good for society. So whoever is running that cafe needs to be closed down. That's how strict I would do it. If you're not following the instructions and you're not encouraging social distancing, if you're a business, you get closed. No sort of like postponement. You get your license taken away. You get your business taken away. It needs to come to that level. People will not do, they will do what they can to get around the rules. And like I said, businesses need to stay open where they can. If takeaway is allowed, then they should encourage people to take it away. Not take it 1 foot away and stand next to them having a chat with their friend. That's not takeaway. In my book, that's an open air restaurant, and that should be shut down. Otherwise, the restaurants will all be doing it. They'll start putting seats in that outside restaurants and saying we're open because we're not, this is takeout. People will bypass the law, bypass restrictions wherever possible. And all it means is the police have got more work to do. They've got enough to do as it is. So help the police. Don't try and find workarounds. Don't bypass the system. Don't buck society. You need to do your bit to help everyone. Not to do what you want and see if anyone does anything about it, which is what most people are doing, which is why I'm ill, because society doesn't do what it's expected to do. It does what it's told to do. And only if someone physically tells them in front of them, not on TV or radio or on newspaper or on a poster, only if someone in a dark blue uniform walks up to them and say, you can't do that, then they're, oh, I'm sorry, officer. Didn't know that. Lies. They knew they're doing things wrong. That cafe in Epping, if that picture is true, they know they're not supposed to be encouraging social distancing or social groups and encouraging social distancing. But they don't care because they're going to make a little bit more money today than they did if they closed. So they're encouraging people to spread the virus. Don't get me wrong, I am not panicking about it, but like I said, I don't go out very often. I don't interact, I don't have friends, I don't have family. I don't get any visitors. And I try to not interact with people in the street because I've got anxiety issues. So that's a win-win for me, because it keeps people off the streets mostly when I can get past my neighbours. I don't know. People are just bad. They want free parking because there's a virus. They want to be able to do anything because there's a virus. They want, I've even seen people say, why isn't public transport free now? Well, if you're not supposed to be travelling, why do you want free public transport? Why do you want free parking? If all week the Prime Minister has been going on about social distancing measures. If you can work does anyone remember, if you can work from home, work from home? I would say 85% of these people can work from home, but they just want to go in because they want to have a little chat with Fred or John or Sue. Hello? Social distancing. Work from home. Self-isolation. There goes Merlin. They're all having a go because they've got new clean litter for the first time in about 5 days. So they're all happy now. Oh, I don't know. Right, I'm going to end this now because I've been going on far too long. What's it, about 40 minutes now, I think? Well, good luck if you make it to the end. Like I say, in a few months' time, this will be up on YouTube when I've got round to editing all the other videos I've got. But I might just post this, if this is, capable of getting up there, I'll put on Facebook. At least people on Facebook will realise what me and people like me are going through. I mean, this is hell for people with anxiety, because even if they do go out, they've got crowds everywhere in the supermarkets. So it's not exactly a fun time for people with anxiety or Asperger's, autism. So I do feel for you people, you fellow sufferers. My situation is just made worse by Waltham Forest Council not doing things correctly, and my neighbours being selfish. I mean, it doesn't really help that I'm in a block of 1-bedroom flats and I'm surrounded by single parents. Well, in fact, they're claiming to be single parents and they're not even single parents, because there's couples and children living in every flat. Apart from, I think, the two downstairs on the ground floor. Everyone else has children in their flats. Which is weird, considering it's a couple and children. And a few of them are new tenants. Only gone in the last couple of years since I've been here. So, how does that work? 2 adults and at least a child in a flat. And they're new into that flat. No wonder why my life's a hell. Anyway, I'm sorry to be going on. Hopefully the microphones pick the sound up. And I'll see you on YouTube.